Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Mr. Lynch. I rise to honor the life, achievements, and contributions of Paul Leonard Newman, a man whose legacy remains in his films and his philanthropy. I think every other American, am a long-time admirer of Paul Newman's and wanted to honor him last year in Congress when he passed, but we were in the process of adjourning and time didn't make it possible. In 1985, while a Tennessee state senator, I sponsored a similar resolution because he had just started his work with Newman's Own, and his philanthropy was starting to spark the nation. He responded when I sent him a copy of the resolution with a very nice note signed by Paul Newman, with the return address simply being Paul Newman. The understated response was typical of the man who was so understated. Sunday night at the Academy Awards, in their tribute to artists who passed away in the previous year, we were reminded of this gentleman when he was shown on the screen and received the greatest applause from his cohorts, members of the Academy. Newman's daughter described him as a rare symbol of selfless humanity. Paul Newman was inspirational. His acting career crossed generations. I remember my mother and father enjoying him much as I was a child, and spanned some 50 years. In 1986, he won 2 awards from the Academy, one for Best Actor, and the other was an honorary Oscar, in part for his personal integrity and dedication to his craft. But then, in 1994, he was awarded a third, the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award for his philanthropic work. Only Frank Sinatra and Paul Newman have so been honored in history. Newman's astonishing career took a major leap in 1982 when he and his pal and buddy, the noted writer A.E. Hotchner, founded Newman's Own Food Company. And with that change came much money for charity and a new salad dressing for me and for many Americans, Mr. Speaker, and new spaghetti sauce and new popcorn, Paul Newman's Own. They established a policy that all proceeds from Newman's Own products would be donated to charities, all the profits through Newman's Own Foundation. That's resulted in over $250 million already going to charities around the world. In the fall of 1988, he opened his first hole-in-the-wall camp in Connecticut for children with serious medical conditions ranging from cancer to HIV/AIDS to hemophilia and sickle cell anemia. Over the years, that camp has gone worldwide and going to Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, seeing children who have devastating illnesses and giving them an opportunity for a summer of enjoyment and laughter. Newman used to visit these camps and just take a look. The kids didn't know who he was, but he got a great feeling of worthwhile projects from just watching these young people, and he saw how much they enjoyed the opportunity to have recreation. He served over 135,000 young people over the years. In his charitable work, he's invested his own time in choosing the charities which go from environmental to educational to the arts, and those charities have gone all over the world. He used his fame to give away much of his fortune, and while we've had philanthropists, Americans like Melinda and Paul Gates and Ted Turner, and in my city, Danny Thomas, who came and did so much with St. Jude, I don't think anybody has given such a percentage of their fortune and continues to do so as Paul Newman. He was one of the founders of the Committee Encouraging Corporate Philanthropy, a membership organization of CEOs and corporate chairpersons committed to raising the level and quality of global corporate philanthropy. The committee leads the business community in developing sustainable and strategic community partnerships through philanthropy. In these times, Mr. Speaker, more people need to assume personal responsibility and contribute to those who are suffering. Paul Newman continues to do so through his charities. At the end of the Oscars, on that tribute to those who passed, Paul Newman was shown on the screen as Chance Wayne in Sweet Bird of Youth. And he was quoted as saying, "The biggest difference between people is not between the rich and the poor, the good and the evil. The biggest of all differences between people is between those who have had the pleasure and love and those who haven't." These words weren't Paul Newman's, they were the writer's, but they were Paul Newman's life. They were his life and his 50 years of marriage to Joanne Woodward and the love he had for her and for his children. He was not your typical Hollywood star. And it was also his love for people and his charitable work. I'd like to close by using Newman's own tradition and spirit. Quote, shameless exploitation in pursuit of the common good. Mr. Speaker, I urge everyone to go to newmansown.com, look at Paul Newman, think about Paul Newman, and today and every day buy salad dressing, popcorn, spaghetti, and other products of Paul Newman's, and let his legacy live on and support the charities. Shameless exploitation in the pursuit of the common good. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman's time has expired.